Howdy folks, it's Alex Goad, best-selling author, coach, small business marketing specialist, and I'm back today with a 10x Your Life capsule where I want to share with you the one thing that changed my life the most in terms of a learnable skill that you can acquire that multiplies your value probably more dramatically than any other skill set or piece of knowledge that you could acquire. Here's what it is. If you look at the difference, for example, between Thomas Edison and Nikola Tesla, if you look at the difference between recent martial arts superstars, Conor McGregor versus Khabib Nurmagomedov, or if you look at tennis superstars from 20 years ago, Andre Agassi versus Jim Courier, what you find is that the better player doesn't necessarily become the more famous player. The better player doesn't necessarily earn more than the better self-promoter. The actual difference maker, and all of these people, by the way, that I've talked about, there is a difference of at least times 10 in terms of how much revenue one made versus the other. Like they say, it's not what you earn. You don't get what you earn in life, you get what you negotiate. So there's something that's more valuable than skill, that's more valuable than value, and that thing is value communication. How do you communicate value to the marketplace? And sometimes it's not just the marketplace, it's communicating value in your workplace, communicating your value to members of the opposite sex, communicating value in just about any setting can cause you to elevate what you're able to do and produce far beyond what other people can do when they don't have the sales and marketing skills that you bring to the table. So think about this for a second. Why is it that two people with an almost perfectly equivalent skill set one of them will attract a gigantic audience and the other one won't? Why is it that two of the greatest inventors of the, I hope I get this right, 20th century, Nikola Tesla and Thomas Edison, why did one collect money like it was going out of style, whereas the other one died poor? Even though both of them are considered to be at the absolute top and peak of their field. Well, sales and marketing are it. And for me, I learned sales before I learned marketing, and that was a good beginning because just figuring out how to look someone square in the eye, introduce myself confidently, shake a hand firmly, just those things got me started on the ladder of elevation of life because I was able to get into new places. I was able to make a decent first impression, and I thought that that was pretty good. But when I learned the actual marketing skills, and when I'm talking about marketing, I'm talking very specifically about copywriting. I stumbled on the Gary Halbert letter, and Gary Halbert said essentially these beautiful and brilliant words, which are, you're only one successful sales letter away from solving all of your problems. And whether or not that's exactly true, you certainly are one sales letter away from solving all of your financial problems if you've got any. So when you look at the art of the actual sales letter, it's persuasion in print. And depending on who you ask, there's 12 steps, there's 16 steps, there's 21 steps, but essentially there are these persuasion points in there that every single human being on earth responds to those cues and clues. There's a way to introduce, there's a way to develop, there's a way to fan the flames of interest and desire, there's a way to ask for the sale, there's a way to close the deal. And if you're aware of those things, and you have another skill set on top of it, when you combine those two, that's where you get the incredible power of having two powerful skill sets. One of them more technical and the other one being sales and marketing. And that's exactly what the three top performers in different fields that I just named have in common. Andre Agassi over Jim Courier, one was a top promoter, a top marketer, and the other one wasn't. The same thing with Khabib versus Conor, the same thing with Thomas Edison versus Nikola Tesla. So again, I recommend that you literally study writing sales copy, because when you do, you're going to gain two huge advantages. The first huge advantage that you're going to get is you're going to be able eventually to communicate in the marketplace or in the world or in the community at large. And you're going to be able to structure your communication so that it is extraordinarily interesting and persuasive. So you're going to be able to make more sales, create more value, influence more people, and have your ideas be developed further and be favored compared to other ideas. The other side of it is that when you get extremely good at these things, you become a lot harder to fool. The vast majority of people don't even realize when their own buttons are being pushed, and yet our buttons are being pushed all the time. Recent research has shown that we humans, from our phones, from the internet, from billboards on the highway, that we're exposed to up to 30,000 persuasion-oriented marketing messages per day. And how do we understand how to interact with all of these different propositions? How do you know when someone's jerking your chains, pushing your buttons? How do you know when those marketing masters are distorting an environment to make it disproportionately likely that you'll make one decision versus another decision? Not because you want to, but because you're kind of being led into that way of thinking, led down that path. When you understand the art of the sales letter, you understand those things clearly, so that when someone's trying to do that to you, you can see right through it and have an educated response, the one that you want to have, rather than falling prey to manipulation tactics, or even just tactics that stop you from following your path and put you on somebody else's path instead. So I could go on and on about the value of these skills, but what you'll see is that even if you just acquire them to a very small level and then you come back to your same marketplace, you're going to understand a lot better how you can add value in your company, how you can add value to your marriage or your relationship. And literally how, when you look at any business out there, you're going to be able to understand the business model very simply. You're going to be able to, when you look at a sign, you're going to be able to understand, what are these people doing? How is this working? You're going to be able to understand how money flows from one place to another place. And when you understand that, then perhaps you can enhance, you can modify, or you can deflect the flow of money so that more of it comes to you. More money, more influence. That's what this is all about. The top #1 skill in the world that will teach you not just how to get the money, but how to understand human psychology: copywriting, marketing, sales stuff. And you know what's even better is that since so few people like that stuff, and since so few people focus on it, when you do it, you become kind of head and shoulders above the pack, because it's maybe 1 person out of 100 that even begins to understand these things. So if you want a giant advantage in your life, in your influence, in your income, study sales, study marketing, study something like the 12-step foolproof sales letter formula, and you'll see that you will learn things that will impress and astound you. So thanks for listening. I'm Alex Goad. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.